Hey, welcome back, and if this is your first video of ours that you're watching, I'll give you a little brief review. Would You Do It For One was a book and a ministry that we have for reaching into nursing homes in our local community. I've been serving as a volunteer chaplain for upwards of 20 years in various different long care skilled nursing institutions, and this tonight is the third in a series on using music in nursing home ministry. So I pray we'll share some things that are practical, some things that are biblical, some things that will encourage, or maybe you give you a little guidance if you've got questions, you're struggling in areas, you see some a chance that we could do something more than you're currently doing right now. I pray that just through the years of experience that God's blessed me with, that I would be able to be a help to you. Tonight we're going to talk about how music can communicate in a way that words themselves alone cannot do. I'm going to start in the longest book of the Bible, and it also happens to be God's song book. We call it the Psalms. In Psalm 77, looking in verse 11, it says, "I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will consider all your works and meditate on all your mighty deeds. Your ways, God, are holy. What God is as great as our God? You are the God who performs miracles. You display your power among the peoples." You see, the word remember and remembering God's works is repeated right in the song that we sing. You know, singing and music is something that's created right in the heart of man from way back at the very beginning. If you don't believe that, think about, how did you learn your ABCs? Well, if you're anything like me, you probably learned it from this little song. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Can you remember the rest of the song? Of course you can. We all remember that song. It's somehow ingrained in us from when we're 2 or 3 years old and we first heard it, and from the time until we die, we're going to remember those words and those notes. There's something about music. If you don't think music and singing are very important, talk to the people at State Farm, because we know that like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Why do we remember that? It's because that little tune has keyed into our memory and keyed into our mind the words that are communicated by that. Well, in the same way that music can be used for a variety of different things of learning, God has created us to be able to remember things through the holy music, the hymns, the spiritual songs that we sing, the psalms that we sing with the people in the nursing homes. We want to think first about how residents in a nursing home, they've got various physical limitations. Not everybody's got the same limitations, but many of them, their hearing is going a little bit at least. And yet there's something about music that if we can just catch one thread of what is being sung, all the rest will begin to be pulled out of the memory of these people. You see, it's important that we don't just come and sing a few songs and then give a reading from the Bible and serve communion and run away home, but our goal in music ministry is to sing less songs, more simple songs, but songs that they will sing. I always say, whether I'm doing music ministry in the church, music ministry on very rare occasions with the youth, or music ministry in the nursing home where I'm there every week, is that the best song to sing is the one that other people will sing with you too. We're not there to do some kind of show or for them just to listen, but we want them to sing because there's something about the music that can reach beyond those physical limitations. They can't hold the hymn book anymore, maybe. Even if you have the hymn book, they might not be able to read what was in it. But if you'll and I will choose the simple songs, the ones that they know. We don't have to sing all the verses. we want to just pick one or two of the key verses from the most familiar hymns, and then we can move it around a little bit. So if we're singing a little bit less verses, maybe we can kind of skip from song to song, sing more songs, because if there's 25 or 30 people in the room that come from various backgrounds, even if they were all from the same denomination, which they're not, they're going to have various songs that they're familiar with. We try to move around. I use even songs maybe they might have learned in Sunday school mixed together with some of the more solemn hymns, because we're trying to communicate across lines of physical limitations. God is able to do that. There's something unique and special about music. Music, more than books, is the vehicle that conveys language and culture. It's what has preserved ways of thought and worship down through the centuries. Second, I want to talk about how music can communicate in a place where that network of family and friends is lacking or is failing. They're no longer in a place where the familiar neighbor comes over and knocks on the door and says, "How are you doing?" Maybe their son or their daughter lives in another city, or maybe they don't have family, and they're there in that place. And when we go, we become the community of God to that brother or that sister. When we sing, something happens. That is because singing isn't something that we do in a closet. If you listen to the last video we talked about, Jesus said, "Go into the closet and pray." But he didn't say go into the closet and sing. When we sing together. Paul tells us that we sing psalms and spiritual songs. It's something that we do together. And so as that person joins in and begins to sing, they begin to feel again that sense of belonging, that sense of family, that sense of connection. We're communicating across those barriers. There's physical barriers, and then there's these emotional senses of isolation and separation that the people are dealing with. But when we come and we sing, what a friend we have in Jesus, sweet hour of prayer, how great thou art, oh, the old rugged cross, everybody ought to know. All these different songs, they are meant to draw these people and bring them into the place where, as they begin to sing and they look and they see their neighbors singing a little bit, they sense that connection to community again, that sense of being a part of something, that sense of I'm here in a place and I have a place that matters. I have value because I'm a part of this little community here where we can come together. And in our nursing home, we sing on Wednesday afternoons, and on Wednesday afternoon they cancel the hair appointment, or they tell their sister or their brother, come and visit me afterwards, or come and join me in the service, because they want to be there. They feel connected. That something is being, a need is being met there. And the majority of what we do is done right through the music that we sing. Yes, I bring the Bible, we do pray, we do all these other things, but they all come from a background of that we bring them to that place through the ministry of music. Last, I want to talk a little bit about memory. When our precious residents in the home are growing older, even those that never have Alzheimer's or dementia, they struggle with their memories, or the memories are beginning to fade. Well, there's something about music, there's something about singing in the hymns, that as we begin to sing, there's a communication that goes far beyond words. I can't even explain it. I don't understand it, but I can tell you this. As we have sung certain songs, maybe not the first time we sang that song, but for those residents that are coming and sitting in the services, I have seen with my own eyes people suddenly break out of that sense of isolation, that silence, that look in their eyes like they're not connected here, and then suddenly they'll begin to sing. I remember one lady in the Alzheimer's unit who I had never heard her say a word, more than hello. I had never heard her say a word. I had never heard her sing a note. And one day as we were singing in the garden, and he walks with me and he talks with me, she joined in. She sang not only the notes, she sang perfect harmony and all the words, all the way through 2 of the verses. What a blessing it was to see that vehicle of song reach in and turn a key in the lock and open up a door that had been shut for so long, and the fresh air of God's Spirit was able to blow in and bring a relief, a joy, a grace to that person. As we sing, we're doing more than simply bringing out memories. We're doing more than simply bringing a connection to community, but we're also giving that person an opportunity to worship, because worship is something that we do together that gives us an individual connection to God. Let me say that again so that we can focus on the word. Our worship, our church worship when we're singing, is something we're doing as a group. We're doing it together, and yet it's the place where individually each one of us is led into an individual connection with God. Isn't that amazing? Each one of us is singing that verse of Amazing Grace, for example, but one by one, God is touching our hearts. God is amazing in the way that He has designed our hearts and our spirits to sing and to be able to communicate with Him. And in that moment of communication, communication becomes a two-way street, because not only are we singing to God, but there comes in that moment when God communicates to our hearts. God communicates to the hearts of those people to whom we're ministering. That's why music ministry is so important. And I'm going to close with a song. And it's so appropriate because it's that hour of prayer. It's not really an hour. We do half an hour. We probably sing about 15 minutes of that time, maybe 20 minutes. And we have 10 minutes. We do a little Bible reading and some prayer and some visiting. But to them, that's their hour of prayer. Just listen to those words. Again, thinking of the nursing home residents and how they respond. Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer that calls me from a world of care and bids me to my Father's throne. Make all my wants and wishes known. And since He bids me seek His face, believe His word, trust His grace, I'll cast on Him my every care and wait for Thee, sweet hour of prayer. Wait for Thee, sweet hour of prayer. God bless you as you minister to our precious nursing home residents, wherever you are, whatever community you're in. May the Lord be with you in all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen.